Today, our focus is determining the meaning of vocabulary in a complex text. So that's one of the ways that nonfiction gets more difficult, gets more complex, is that the vocabulary gets more difficult. So we need to use some clues, some strategies to help us figure out those unknown words, especially when we're talking about technical things. Authors like to use technical terms, so it can be difficult to find those. So just kind of reviewing context clues a little bit. So first off, context clues. We use different types of context clues, whether that's the definitions themselves. Sometimes in a word, we'll find synonyms or antonyms, synonyms meaning similar words, antonyms meaning the opposite. Sometimes the author will give us examples of what the word is, and then sometimes we just have to use all of those things together and the context itself, context meaning all of the words around it, and just make our own inferences or educated guesses. So what if we still can't figure out the unknown word using those strategies? Well, we try looking around the unknown word. So you could ask yourself, what do you picture while you're reading this, or maybe even look at the pictures that are in the text. What's happening in the text right now? So thinking, kind of even stopping and asking yourself maybe a main idea question. What's the main idea of what we've been reading about so far? And is this positive or a negative thing? Because that's going to affect the vocabulary that the author is using, if this is a good or a bad or a positive or a negative. And then what type of word it is, that can help. So by reading the sentence, you can almost kind of tell, is this an action word? Is this a person, place, thing? Is this describing something? And that's going to help us narrow down what the word actually means if we know what type of word it is. So we're going to practice doing that. Let me find my reading. So we've got some text here that it's the same text, but it's actually it's the same type of text, but it's at 3 different levels. So if we look, we start here at level 1, and this is The Amazing Octopus. And we've actually talked about the octopus a couple of times already. So let's look at this. Let's read this paragraph. And then I want us to answer the question, how does this author teach you what the word predator is? And you may already know what predator means, but I want you to focus on the context of this paragraph and see, how is the author trying to teach us what this word means? The amazing octopus has many ways to defend itself. When an octopus wants to move fast, it can shoot water to push itself backwards. An octopus can travel many miles that way. An octopus can also protect itself by squirting ink. The ink makes the predator, or animal hunting the octopus, become blind and lose its sense of smell for a while. This gives the octopus a chance to escape. So we see predator here. Let's reread that sentence that has the word predator in it. So it says, the ink makes the predator, or animal hunting the octopus, become blind and lose its sense of smell for a while. So in this case, if we looked back at our types of context clues, let's look back at that. We're actually using a definition here. So the author is kind enough to just go ahead and put the definition of the word right after the word. So predator or animal hunting the octopus, meaning that predator means animal hunting the octopus, right? So that's a kind of lower level text. So they're kind of helping us out, knowing that word probably, that we probably don't know that word. But let's look if we bump up the text a little bit. So this is an animal like no other, so it's covering the same information, but let's look and see how the author's trying to help us with predator this time. The octopus has many amazing ways to defend itself from predators. When an octopus wants to move quickly to escape a predator, it can shoot out of its siphon and push itself backwards. This is called jet propulsion. Using this technique, octopuses can travel many miles. An octopus can also protect itself by squirting ink at a predator, causing it to become blind and lose its sense of smell temporarily. This makes it difficult for a predator to track the octopus once it has darted away. The octopus can also escape predators by changing its color like a chameleon to blend into its surroundings. But if a predator does manage to grab an octopus by the arm, the octopus has one more trick up its sleeve. It can break off its arm, swim away, and then grow a new one later. First off, just comparing the first paragraph to this one, they use the word predator really often. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 times that I'm seeing, just going through this quickly. So reusing the word over and over again is actually pretty helpful. The author is trying to give us several opportunities to understand exactly what predator means. And if we notice, the author keeps saying predator and then giving a defense, giving away that the octopus gets away. So since they keep doing this, and especially this last one, it says, if a predator does manage to grab an octopus, I feel like that's probably our biggest hint, that if it's something that's grabbing the octopus, first off, that makes me believe that it's probably a noun, right? A person, place, or thing. If it's grabbing the octopus, that gives us the idea that it's something that wants to do harm or wants to get to it. So that kind of gives us the idea that a predator is probably something that's trying to catch the octopus. So different than just giving us the definition, it gave us examples, a lot of examples. We did have to use some inferencing, right? We also had to kind of picture what was happening as they were reading, noticing that predator was kind of a negative thing, and also that we knew it was a noun, so that helped us. So we used lots of different techniques on that one. Let's look at the last one and see how they're trying to teach us how it's different this time. So notice we're all the way up to level 6, so this is going to be a little bit more difficult of a text. One of the most striking characteristics of the octopus is the wide array of techniques it uses to avoid or thwart its attackers. When an octopus wants to move quickly to escape a predator, it can expel water from its siphon and push itself backwards, a process called jet propulsion. Using this technique, octopuses can travel many miles. An octopus can also protect itself by squirting ink at a predator, obscuring its view and causing it to lose its sense of smell temporarily. This makes the fleeting octopus difficult to track. If a predator manages to grab an octopus by the arm, the octopus has one more trick up its sleeve. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. If you notice, they don't use the word predator as much, but this one feels very similar to the one that we just read. They even kind of give us the same here. If a predator manages to grab an octopus, so we're kind of using some of the same clues. But I do notice in this one that they're focusing less on the predator itself and focusing a lot more on giving us details about how the octopus is planning on getting away from its predator. So the author is spending less time on helping us understand the terms and more time focused on the message that they're trying to get across. So they're wanting us, we would probably say the main idea, right, is that the octopus has lots of techniques for, lots of defenses, lots of techniques for getting out of danger. And since they're focusing a little bit more on that, they're using less effort and less time to explain or help us understand what those words mean. They're kind of assuming that we already know what those words mean. So just to review real quickly before you do some reading today, remember context clues, it's more than just, okay, here's the definition, right? Sometimes that's the case, but we've got synonyms, antonyms, examples that we can use, picturing what's happening around the word, asking ourselves, is this a positive or a negative, and then also what type of word it is. And most of the time, we're going to have to make some inferences, right? We're going to have to use multiple techniques, multiple strategies, and just make our best guess in the end. So keep this in mind as you're reading today, that context clues are our friends, guys. Do it to it.